We are back in the matters of the defendant, Scott Robert Claiborne, court, and the prosecutor and the defense attorney went back into the court's office to review the 3 items of child pornography that are listed as the items the defendant received in exchange for him sending out pictures of his great niece in a barter system that is perversely used in child pornography networking. And the court reviewed those 3 photographs. And I believe all the parties agree that those photographs do not depict the likeness of the defendant's great niece, but do show children, one having a penis in the child's vagina, another child holding a penis, someone's penis, among those 3 photographs, which are all blatant child pornography. So that's what we're talking about here. And again, the pre-sentence report is prepared. Any objections to it being part of the record in this case?
No, Your Honor, just with my comments.
All right. Then it's made a part of the record for all purposes. Go ahead.
Your Honor, like I said, initially when the officer showed up in September of 21, he denied everything. But right after that, he sought Dr. Capon, had some counseling with him, and Dr. Capon sent him to Dr. Steris, and he's been seeing Dr. Steris for the last 2.5 years, as shown by the letter.
Is that Marcus Steris?
Yes, Marcus Steris. He's now a licensed professional counselor and licensed sex offender treatment provider. He provided a letter to you on October 17th. Outlining Mr. Claiborne's treatment and progress. He would like to continue that treatment, and also, I guess, to the DA's office, they need to check with the great niece if she needs some counseling or whatever. He would gladly pay for that. I know he has stated to me that the counseling has really helped him. I'm not going to say it's an understanding of why he did what he did, but at least give him the tools necessary to never do it again.
Anything else?
So,
what are you asking for?
Deferred adjudication, Your Honor.
And for the record, the agreement here is whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 8 years imprisonment. So this is a 3rd-degree felony in each of these 3 cases, and I guess these sentences run concurrently.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he is looking at if prison time, no less than 2 nor more than 8 years confinement in prison.
Correct.
Deferred or unadjudicated probation is allowed for this.
Yes, Your Honor.
And also, I guess, regular probation. He could, isn't that right? It's not, it is regular probation.
I think regular probation is, he's eligible for regular probation.
Yes.
So I could sentence the defendant no less than 2 nor more than 8 years confinement in prison, suspend that sentence and place him on regular probation as well.
I think that is within your power.
What's this thing?
Your Honor, given that this defendant was sharing photos of his great niece in order to get child pornography, the fact that he was detailing to these people in messages things that he would like to do to his great niece, which we have provided the court with, the fact that after all of this therapy that he's gone through, he's still told probation that he clicked on unknown links that were sent in an email and looked at it, then deleted them, that he then told probation that he doesn't think he's done anything to harm anyone. Even after all of this treatment leads me to believe that it's not working. He's not really learning anything. He's likely to do it again. I appreciate that he's gone to therapy, but the therapy is not undoing all of the harm that he's been doing to these children. This is a pretty egregious case of possession of child pornography. The state would recommend 8 years TDC in all 3 cases.
All right. Anything you would like to say, sir?
Yes, I just want to let you know that I'm so ashamed and disgusted at myself for what I've done and said. And I hate myself for the pain that I've caused my family. They don't deserve it. They certainly didn't deserve it. And I am getting help with Mr. Asteris, and I continue to get that help. And I do understand everything that I've done, that's how serious it is. I've never been in trouble before, and I will never do this again. And I will do everything possible to make it up to my family. And I truly am sorry for what I've done.
So when did this epiphany come over you that you have remorse? You didn't seem to have remorse at any time when you were exchanging your great niece's photographs for truly disgusting, despicable, straight from hell child pornography. You have to admit, there's not a doubt about what we're seeing there. It turns your stomach of any decent human. How come it didn't do that to you?
I have no excuse.
But now, when you got caught, now when all the evidence is in your face, now you're sorry. Let me ask you this. How do you take back that child pornography that is out there? You don't. It's there forever. And it victimizes a child, those children that are depicted, each time someone views it, that they're victimized. So it's there forever. They're victimized for the rest of their life. Because of you and people like you. So it's like they're being molested again. You don't seem to understand that. Normal people wouldn't spend much time, any time, if they came across that. But you not only sought out the information, you made a trade. You used your own relative to trade, which is the way it's done. I'm familiar with that. That's how the people who market this, the satanic group out there that is perverted, they're not going to give this information up for free. So you have to trade with other child pornography so that they can continue to accumulate it to trade with others. So you willingly took part in the whole process. You furthered child pornography and its victimization, and it's in there forever. And now there's just no way you're going to get back those images of your child, of your great niece. It's been used, acquired, saved, and then traded with others by now. So the child, your own great niece, is harmed. You understand that? I'm looking at the pre-sentence report and during the interview with the probation officer, who prepared the probation report?
Jody Roach.
Okay. So nobody's here on behalf of the probation office with this. Okay. That's too bad. I wish they were always here, but when asked how you feel about the victims of your crime, do you remember what you answered? I never did anything to anybody. Do you know how wrong that answer is?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's false. And this goes on to say, despite his progress in sex offender treatment, it seems the defendant still doesn't understand the severity of his offense or recognizes the children as victims. Is that true? It's the way it appears. I never did anything to anybody. That's what you would say to the probation office when they're preparing this pre-sentence report? You're denying any harm? That's what you said. No. We all know that's wrong. That's not a correct statement. The people who have reviewed the defendant, we're talking about psychotherapist, Mr. Marcus Terrace. I think you call him doctor. He's a doctor of education,
Yes.
but he's a licensed psychotherapist, and he's not a medical doctor, but he does have experience and training in this subject matter, and he doesn't. I know Dr. Mr. Asteris here, as he doesn't always say people are good candidates for probation. He was a probation officer at one time, so he can use discretion and discern who can be a good candidate for probation and who can't. And he says this defendant is a good candidate for probation, and from what his tools are in analyzing this kind of conduct, he's a low risk for reoffending. What I'm going to do is this, and everybody knows that I'm a strong advocate for decency in children and their well-being, and fight against indecency. But what I'm going to do is make the following findings. And again, the defendant has zero criminal history, but made a big mistake here and harmed children. Illegal possession of child pornography. The statute allows that probation can be granted for this crime, this type of crime. And the evidence from the defense that is presented suggests that probation is appropriate under these circumstances in this case. I'm going to find you have pleaded guilty earlier voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted at your plea hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You are convicted of this third-degree felony of illegal possession of child pornography. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 8 years. That will be suspended. You are placed on regular probation for 10 years. There will be terms and conditions of probation which have been prepared by the probation office for this regular probation. You will successfully complete an approved sex offender treatment program provided by a licensed sex offender treatment provider and pay all costs thereof. You shall have no contact with children under the age of 18 without authorization of the court. You will submit to a sex offender assessment within 90 days of entering a sex offender treatment program and pay all costs. You will submit to polygraph examinations and other evaluation examinations as directed by the court and by the probation office and pay costs thereof. You will register with the sex offender tracking program through the local law enforcement. You will submit a DNA sample to the Department of Public Safety for the purposes of creating a DNA record under Article 42A.451 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. You will avoid entering or approaching within 1,000 feet the premises or places children commonly gather, including schools, schoolyards, playgrounds, parks, amusement arcades, daycare centers, youth facilities, or public swimming pools. You will avoid supervising or participating in any program, including as participants or recipients of persons 17 years of age or younger that regularly provide athletic, civic, or cultural activities. You shall not possess any printed, photographed, computer-generated images, recorded sexually stimulating or sexually oriented material as defined as I've seen under Article 43.21 of the Texas Penal Code, nor go on the premises of or patronize any place where such material or entertainment, that should be quotes around that word, is entertainment, is available, or such perverse entertainment should be worded that way. You will be placed on an intensive supervision probation caseload, specifically the sex offender caseload, until further orders of the court. You will be inside your home confinement, except for employment purposes and for other necessaries like hospitalization, hospital care, going to get food. And we're going to do this for a while to make sure that we are tracking you. You will not subscribe to or use any online computer services or computer bulletin board systems, social media networks, platforms, networking services, interactive messaging apps, or photo video sharing apps through means of any electronic device, including but not limited to computers, cell phones, or gaming consoles, either at home or work, unless approved in advance by the supervision officer or by the court. You will apply in person to the Texas Department of Public Safety not later than the 30th day after it says release on probation for an original or renewal driver's license or personal identifications renewed. I don't understand what that's all about. I'm going to have to get more clarification on what that means. You will be ordered to remain in your home within an extended curfew of 6 p.m. through 6 a.m. on every Halloween night when children are out.
Oh, my guys outside. I'm sending you tablets on them wanting my calls.
I gotta get some.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to let you know he's sitting outside.
And when directed by the supervising officer in probation, the defendant is to wear a probation issued identification bracelet during the hurricane season, specifically the months June through November each year, and or when a voluntary or mandatory evacuation is possible to an identified threat for the geographical area where the defendant is residing. There will be other terms and conditions of probation which you must follow. Is it crystal clear to you, sir, that number one, this is serious? Number two, unlike what you originally said, I hope you appreciate and understand clearly harm was done to children, including one of your relatives. Even though they were not nude or showed to be participating in a sexual act, they were used in exchange for child pornography. Their likeness, I can't even imagine doing that to anyone, much less someone who's a relative of mine, a young child. And then next, all the child pornography in the world, most importantly in your case, what you acquired harmed those particular children. Those children were again assaulted in a manner of speaking by you, your lurid method of exploiting them by acquiring them like a trophy, like a baseball card or something. Is it clear to you that child pornography, they're victimized at all times when they're out there, but they're also most victimized when people trade for their likenesses in child pornography, and then they are used in a prurient method or for prurience, for sexual gratification. So you harm children. You harm those children. You were employed somewhere?
So,
You're employed somewhere? All right. You work during the week?
yes,
Okay. You're going to go to, you're going to, when you harm a child like this, you go to jail. You're going to go to jail for 180 days. We'll do weekends. You report in the county jail, 6:00 p.m., and you will be released Sunday, 6:00 p.m. You will do those on successive weekends until this court decides that that's no longer necessary. But right now, I'm going to order 180 days, 90 weekends. You can't undo the harm to children. Do you understand? You can't undo it.
Don't make me fine.
There is no fine on this, is there? There was no fine.
No.
And the message is sent through this case, in all cases where there's child pornography, exploiting children and harming children, you go to jail. The defendant goes to jail on my watch. That's only right. It's only fair. Especially, this will be over for you. But those children's victimization will not end. Please see the probation officer.
Wait,
Will the
wait.
jail section begin
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Next Friday. You got a week to take care of that, beginning Friday week.